everyone, welcome to my channel, and if you are a returning watcher, welcome back. This is a foraging compilation video. So I'm starting by picking some black and white, or rather golden raspberries. The summer of 2025 had proven to be a very abundant year for black raspberries and golden raspberries. So I made lots of really good things out of it. So I'm going to be adding equal parts sugar and water to a small pan and bringing that up to a boil, stirring it to dissolve the sugar, and then I'm just going to let it cool off. Meanwhile, I'm going to juice a few limes for that nice tart flavor. And then I'm going to wash some of my black and golden blackberries, and I'm going to blend that with the lime juice. This is a pretty simple recipe, but super, super good, and I enjoyed this for several days. We're just going to strain off the pulp, the seeds, whatnot, and then we're going to add that to our sugar syrup. And then you can enjoy it with a beverage of your choice. You can enjoy it with seltzer, like I'm doing here. You can add it to water to make like a black raspberry limeade. Lots of fun things can be had with this. You could make cocktails with this if you like to drink. Me, I don't know. I'm in my 40s. I don't like drinking anymore. And my next recipe is black staining polypore ground meat in quotation marks, because I don't eat meat. So I hope this goes without saying, but before eating any mushrooms that you have foraged, make sure that you have positively identified them. This is a black staining polypore. Some people see it as not really much of a good edible. It certainly is non-toxic. It is edible, but it can be tough. I wouldn't recommend it for anything maybe besides this recipe. This will actually be much more easy to eat because we are going to be chopping it up in the food processor to make like a ground meat alternative. So here I am washing them, and as you can see, black staining, it stains the water, and it's going to stain my hands too. So I'm going to be grinding this up in my food processor in batches. And I will say, it looks pretty raunchy. But anyway, then I'm going to also add some walnuts, onions, celery for some aromatics. These are all going to get mixed together. And then I'm also going to add in some other flavorings like some minced garlic, lots of it, because I'm making a big batch. I'm also going to put in some Worcestershire sauce, however way you pronounce it. This one is accidentally vegan. I get it at Dollar General. I'm putting a little bit of olive juice in there for some flavor, some nutritional yeast, ground paprika, just whatever was left in that container. I'm also going to add some basil. I'm going to add some liquid smoke. This is really key if you're making your fake meats. Some steak sauce. Steak sauce is actually vegan. You just put it on things that are not vegan, like steaks. Soy sauce. Let's see. So we're going to be mixing all of that together. And I realized that I forgot an ingredient, which is some cooked lentils. I like to add cooked lentils to this to amp up the protein, and it adds a nice texture. So now that everything's mixed together, I'm just going to fry it up in a big pan, and I have to do this in batches because, again, I'm making a very large amount. I had a lot of black staining polypore to work with, and I am going to be freezing this for future use. So here I go, sauteing it. So when it starts to brown a bit, you can dump it into a heat-safe container and then just continue on with cooking up the polypore ground. By the way, if you don't want to use mushrooms that you foraged, you can just use store-bought mushrooms. Same recipe, same technique. Awesome. Next one is Acadian grass soup. This is something that my grandmother used to make, and it's made with lamb's quarters. So this is just a simple vegetable soup. We're going to start with some aromatics, some celery. We're going to also do about half of an onion, and we're going to cut those things up and saute them in a little bit of oil to get the soup started. We're going to season this really simply with just some salt and pepper. And we're going to let those vegetables sweat. These are some Maine potatoes. I'm going to wash these and cut them up and put them in the soup. But before I do that, I'm going to add some broth. Yes, I know that's a pickle juice jar, but that is some homemade vegetable broth. Very nice. And we're gonna add in some red lentils for a little bit of protein. I'm just gonna rinse off some before I put it into the soup. I'm adding half of one of these not chicken vegetarian bouillon cubes just for a little more flavor. And while everything's cooking, I'm going to wash and pick my lamb's quarters. Lamb's quarters are in the spinach family. They're pretty good. And there is some leftover rice and lamb's quarters. I'm adding that in after my lentils and potatoes are cooked. And we're just gonna heat that through just to soften up the lamb's quarters. And it made a pretty decent soup. I'm gonna have this with some ployes. Ployes are a French Acadian buckwheat pancake, but they're not just for maple syrup and stuff. Like, you can have them as like a bread substitute. So I will be posting a video on how to make those soon, so I hope you tune in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I would love it if you left a comment down below. It helps the channel a whole lot. Leave a like and subscribe too. That'd be cool.
Miss Kitty.